Good evening, good evening, good evening. My name is TK Petersen. I am the co-founder and CFO of The Gathering Spot, and it is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome y'all to the state of the club that Ryan will be kicking off in a second. But first, I wanted to say thank you to each and every person who took some time out of the day to come down physically here to the Gathering Spot ATL, the very first location that we opened here in the Gathering Spot Network in 2016. It's very humbling to be standing here in front of you guys. At this point last year, I did not imagine that this moment would come yet again to be able to celebrate another anniversary here. 8 years. 8 years. It's fantastic. When we look around and I think about all the memories that we've made in here, when I think about my man Sean Norman being here when we didn't have any doors or doorknobs, when Brianna Gaudi was here, when we used to play video games on this big screen back in the day, and now we're in 8 cities across the nation. And we have a lot more to come. So thank you guys for spending some time with us here tonight. I'm about to hand the mic over to our CEO, my brother, Ryan Wilson. We have a lot of exciting things to share. We want to thank you guys for supporting us and riding with us. And I'm going to hand it off to my guy now. Let's do it.
Thank you, brother. I got one. Hi, everybody. How are y'all? It's good to see y'all. Thank you for everybody that's watching. So there are watch parties that are going on around the country right now. And as TK just mentioned, 8 years in 8 cities. You could not have told 23 and 24-year-old us that we would have the opportunity. And y'all, you'll see me, I'm going to talk about a lot tonight. Know that the through line through everything is us as a community. This thing does not exist without really good people coming together on a consistent basis. Opened this club up with 128 members. And I was going to say $1 and a dream, but it was a half a dollar and a whole dream. But what we've built, and I'm going to go through some of that in just a second, it's been really powerful. So I'm going to try to be efficient. After 8 years of stuff, there's a lot that we could talk about tonight. But I've got 3 goals for tonight's conversation: where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. I'm going to spend the most amount of time in the last bucket. I'll move quickly through these first 2. For those that are unfamiliar, right, just to level set, the Gathering Spot is a collective of people committed to community and culture. We're in the people business more than anything else. I've long said that it's not about the tables and chairs. It's not about the spaces that we build. It's about the relationships that are formed here. It's the only reason why a business called The Gathering Spot, even when we couldn't gather, was able to survive. Where we've been, well, our favorite number right now is 8. Don't want me to show you that. I think that still looks like us. We kind of, it's mostly us. We've been open officially here since March 1st, 2016 was the first day. And full entrepreneurial process, I'll spare you that part of the story. But today, we're one of the largest and most influential private membership clubs that exists in the country. And that's not a me thing or a TK and I thing. That's an us thing. That's when you look at the collective of people that call TGS home. We're a special group. We now have membership communities in 8 cities. First one here in Atlanta. Many folks know DC was the second club. Our 3rd physical location was Los Angeles. And then over the last 30 days, I've been to all 5 of these cities: Chicago, Charlotte, Detroit, Houston, New York. And our connected cities, right, the promise that was made there years ago, now going almost 2 years ago, was that we were going to, any place where our people were, that was going to be the gathering spot, at least for the moment, but that we would work really aggressively to try to find and build physical spaces where our community could come together. Well, I'm proud to say I'm going to share the 4th one here in just a second. But what's happening in these connected cities and what continues to happen throughout the country is something that we should be really proud of. Again, I just went to go to see every city, and all of these communities are thriving with the same thing that made Atlanta special and made DC special and made LA special. You see in all of the connected cities. Thank you to everyone that's watching and that's been a part of the effort. We wouldn't have been able to be at this moment, but not for your vision and believing that we could get there. I'll clap for that. I like that woo. Whoever did the woo, I woo for the connected cities. No. If you know TGS, you know that we host experiences, and we host experiences with the biggest brands in the world consistently. It's really hard to put a bow around this particular point because we've hosted it all. This room, cocktail parties, seated plated dinners, movie screenings. There's everything been in here. And again, it's with very large companies and very small companies, but moments in culture that matter. There are a lot of people, when they think about their time in Atlanta, or their time in DC, they think about moments, right, that were talked about sometimes nationally. Quick aside, I was in a conversation about a couple weeks ago, and they were describing when there was a picture where President Biden was sitting next to Jeezy. And they were like, "Do you remember when Jeezy was talking to the president?" And I was like, "I do. That was at the gathering spot. I was there." Right? But they didn't know, right, that moment was here. And like it was, a small example, but one that, again, I think is really powerful when I think about all of the stuff that's happened. For those of you that are more quantitatively inclined, we went on a run together. And I'll talk about what happened in 22 in a second, but I mean, we grew this business over 870% between 2016 and 2022. We were a scaling company, right? And so those of you that are familiar with a little bit of the recent history, our fortunes changed a little bit last year, but we're back in a real way. And let's get to it. Let's talk about where we are. We acquired the company about 90 days ago. I think it's 91 days at this point. And our team has been focused on a couple of things that's important for me to share with you. The first thing was just stabilize the business, right? It was going back into everything we had built over a number of years and making sure that, one, it was still there, and two, how were we going to improve upon it? If you know this business, you know that it does not happen but for the amazing people that are a part of our team. It's been over 100 people for a really long time, and I ain't hearing any woos for them, but I'll woo for them. Woo to the TGS team. Got folks like Russ that have been here all 8 years, and since we started. We don't do this thing alone, right? It takes an amazing, dedicated group of people that have poured themselves in. I'm proud to share a couple of things. First member of our team, Reagan's still here 8 years later. I don't know what she's thinking, but second member of our team, she's not here with us. I think she's watching online. Samantha's still here. Every event that I talked about, Samantha's booked those events. Third member of our team, over 8 years too, JT, if you've been here, we've been doing this together for a really long time. And so I talked about some Atlanta folks, but we could go to Mitch in DC that opened that club and has built it. We can go to Tara, who's leading the effort in Los Angeles, and Amber and Tessie and DeAndre, people who have been a part of building TGS from the very beginning. It has been a journey for all of us, right? But they're doing really good work, and it's important for me to share that with you. The third thing we've been doing is welcoming back members, right? This is a membership club, and we had to say hello again to a lot of people. First, we appreciate you. For everybody that, over 8 years, there are folks that have moved, taken an opportunity, come back to the city, moved again, and then come back again, right? welcoming back folks that we hadn't seen in a while has been a top priority for us, because in order for us to think about the future, we've always known that we had to be settled in our history. Fourth thing that we've been doing is just reimagining our member events. It's a hard task, right, to think about how to program for y'all, if I'm being honest, right? When you start in the beginning, it's easy to think about the first 30 events that you want to do, but then 30 becomes 60, 60 becomes 90, and then you add some years to that, right? And you'll be in a room where someone will say, well, hey, have we ever thought about doing this? And it's like, well, yeah, we did that in 2017. And we've got some folks that saw that event that would be excited about it, and others that would say, well, why are y'all doing that again? Didn't we just do that? We're pouring a lot of time into thinking about how TGS meets this moment, right? This environment in 2024 is different than 2016. It's different than 17, right? What things do we need to be talking about, doing, saying, exploring? What sort of connections need to be built? There's a whole new tech stack that's available for us to connect that didn't exist when we started. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Last three quickly. We've been reorganizing our org structure to meet the demands of growth and everything that I've been describing. And the last thing is we've been sunsetting a bunch of old processes. We've been around just long enough that some of the stuff that was hot when we started is like prehistoric feeling. I remember some of the technology being in the room. How many folks were here when you used to be able to unlock the door with your phone? That was some technology when we opened. Now people are like, and? We're spending a lot of time making sure that the business has the latest and greatest from a tech perspective. I'm going too fast. Okay, how do you quantify the last 90 or so days? Well, we've seen a 42% increase in applications to join the club. That's significant. A 32% increase in just visits to the club, just more people visiting more often. Thank you. It's important to us. We've hosted some really important events. Again, going back to this idea of talking about the things of the day with the people of the day. This room and many others now across the country have hosted conversations that we believe are really important. Hosted also a number of other notable events, and then for folks that are into other aspects of change management, it's been a new POS, a point of sale system, and a new CRM. I'll talk about our tech stack in a second, but that's a lot to do in 90 days. Our team has been working really hard at having the things that were working continue to work, and then us starting to explore, again, some new systems. I like the tech stack, thank you. I think it's also important, when I made a claim earlier, I said that we're one of the more influential clubs that exists in the country. And I say this humbly, right, but it's amazing to me that in the first 90 days of this year, we have welcomed the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, and 3 cabinet secretaries, not to just be here, but to meet with our membership specifically, and to talk about what's at stake in this election. And as you know, these folks could show up anywhere, right? But they're here specifically because they know what TGS is and how this community has showed up in small races and big ones. And it is something that we should be proud of as a community, right? In 90 days, I was joking with our team, but I think it's true. I don't know if there are many other places that could say something like this outside of a government building. It's the truth. What you should also know is that this is one of the more secure locations that exists anywhere, because shout out to our team, Wade, who I believe is here, and our entire operations team, because to pass a Secret Service vet a couple times it's some work to do. I've talked about the impactful experiences. I won't spend time here, but just know that we're trying to think about all of who's here. The youngest member right now is 21. The oldest is 91, right? So know that, again, when I talk about it being a tough task every single day, We are creative, we are entrepreneurial, we are folks that are leading some of the biggest companies in the world. Everybody's here. We have civic leaders, everybody that you could imagine from an industry perspective is here. We have people that are really interested in wellness. We have folks that really want social experiences, others that really want professional development, and know that every single day we are spending time trying to figure out how to, again, build experiences that speak to everyone here. It's never going to be perfect. If you've heard me talk about TGS before, I talk about my experience growing up in the church, where I heard regularly, we're not a perfect church, but we're trying to be. Like, we're not a perfect club, but we are trying to be. And what I mean by that is that we are trying to listen and learn and figure out, again, how to meet this moment. It's tough work, but work that we're excited about. I shared this in our last town hall. There's been 3 points of emphasis over the last couple of months thematically for our team. The first is a relentless focus on member experience. I mentioned not being perfect. Well, we're not, right? But know that there's no group of people that is working to try to get better every single day, that cares about this. This comes from our soul, y'all. This is not just my job, right? Like, and I'm fortunate to work with a lot of people where it isn't just their job either. The people that are part of this team believe in this mission. They believe in what we can facilitate when we make connections. And we are tripling our efforts in everything connected to the hospitality of the club. I've mentioned it, I'll show it in a second, but investment in technology, I'll leave that there, but just know that we're moving aggressively in that direction. And then this third piece I want to spend a little time on, because the last time I talked about it, I think some people fully got what I was saying, and others maybe missed elements of what I was trying to describe. The third goal is to become the most inclusive club in the country. What do we mean by that? Look, by category, we are a private club, meaning we are going to get to know every single person here, because in order to facilitate connections, you got to know who's in the room. But again, going back to this idea of there being really important things that are going on in our community, right? Some that we've been talking about very publicly. What's going on with DEI? What's going on from a reproductive rights perspective? And women, we're here in Women's Month, and what's going on, I mean, in a variety of ways, right? 60% of this membership community are women. How are we thinking about making sure that from a socioeconomic perspective, right, what we were never trying to produce at TGS was a place where we would build a high wall and say, well, when we're talking about the important stuff, none of that information can ever go outside. This is not something that we believe in. Full stop. This is a class critique more than it is a race critique. I've been very clear. TGS, while everyone is welcome, TGS was founded by black folks for black folks. Full stop. But when we're talking about, again, important issues, we are going to be intentional about making sure that that information leaves this room. I'll give you another quick example. I appreciate that it's important. I'll give you another quick example. I was in a room meeting. They described that every single World Cup match is like a Super Bowl. Every single match. And they had a projection at that time. And I was in a meeting in Atlanta, and they said, we believe that Atlanta will get somewhere between 4 and 8 matches. Well, we ended up getting 8. That means there are 8 Super Bowls coming to Atlanta. That is not information that can be held just here because we are a membership community. Now, it will be shared here first, right? But I believe that we have a responsibility to make sure that the good news about some things gets out, right? That's what this third pillar is about. It's not a new value at all, right? If you've been here for years, you know that we close down our restaurant on a consistent basis and we bring in families in need. If you've been here for a while, you know that we went to start a literacy initiative and left starting a food initiative where we brought dinner to students every single day for 4 years. Dinner every single day. This isn't a new value for us, but it's one that we're expressing differently because I think the times require it. That's that on that. Okay, ways to participate. I get asked this question, and I'm going to just say this quickly. One, thank you for being a part of the membership community. TGS doesn't exist without you, plainly. It just doesn't. We're not a restaurant. We host events, but we are not an event space. We're not a venue, right? We're certainly not a co-working space. We have workspace. We exist because folks are members of this club. It means a ton to us, right? And I don't mean that just financially. I mean that it means a lot that people are invested in this experience. And the more people that we are able in a measurable and in a way that's controlled, right? But the more that we're able to grow, the more that we're able to accomplish as a community. There's a one-to-one impact that happens as the community continues to grow. The second thing that we need in this season, I went back to how hard it is to build experiences, but if you have an idea for something that you want to do here, please don't be shy. There's a QR code there. Send it to us right now. Everybody around the country to us. Send us right now. We want to build with you, right? We want to highlight your business. We want to highlight the thing that you're passionate about. I look across this room and quickly, right, see people that we've been able to do a lot with. I mean, we've got Shanti here in the front row. Silence the Shame. I remember when Silence the Shame started, and the first video was shot right in the back of this room. We've collaborated on so many things over the years, right? And I could go from there. There's so many different in this room experiences that have been built, but we've got more to do. Third thing is just plan your next TGS experience, right? Look at the calendar. We've got a new app coming. I'm going to preview something, and you'll be able to see what's happening here in a way that I think will be exciting. And the last thing is book a private event with us, right? We host experiences, but we're always looking to support the efforts that you have in bringing people together. All right, where we're going. Oh, hold on. I gotta give that. Y'all just saw a whole bunch of faces. It's like, what is that? Because this thing only works because of the community, we created a couple years ago what we call the community board. If you've been on a community board, raise your hand. Thank you. The community board effort was about saying, hey, look, the Gathering Spot only works when we have direct relationship, right, lines of communication with the membership and leadership, right, within the membership to engage with us as a team. It has been, if I'm being candid with you, an open experiment, something that we've had to build together, right? Because there are some organizations that have something kind of like what I just described, but most don't. So if you've been on a community board, we pioneered something that we should be proud of. With that said, as we continue to evolve what this effort is going to look like, it is my privilege to welcome, or to introduce rather, the new members of the community board across the country. These are the folks for the next year. I'm going too fast. So these folks were, these are folks that not only were nominated, but the membership voted on. I've got a couple of appointments that I'll make to fill out the rest of this board over the next couple of weeks. But congratulations and thank you to everyone, past, present, and future, that's been a part of the community board effort. We're really excited and grateful for this engagement. It helps us become better every single day. 2024 Community Board. And these are folks all across the country, right? So there's representation in all 8 cities, which again is important. All right, I said last time up here, and this is something that I'm trying to figure out with TK, it is important in this next iteration of the business that those that are interested and want to invest in the business, to grow along with us, we're working on trying to figure that out right now. I won't bore you with the legal, just the legal is legaling. And I'm saying that as a person with a law degree. But we're working on figuring it out right now. And it's a commitment that we made, and one that I didn't want you to think that we had lost track of. We haven't lost track of it. We're working on it. All right. We've got a new mobile app coming. Yeah. So Portal goes live March 22nd. We are in the final process. In the next couple weeks, you will be able to download the app, both for Apple and Android. And when you look, we're excited about this first version of what the app, this is a couple screenshots of what it'll look like. We're excited about this app, right? It'll allow you to do the fundamentals of what you've always been able to do, but the experience, right, is way better, way better. And all in all, when we talk about engagement and continuing to think about ways to best serve the community, content, this app will be a great place to be able to do it. So I do need something. There's an ask in here. I need y'all to download this app when it's available, please. I know that sounds easy, but when we did the first app, it felt like we were 2 years in, and people were like, there's an app. There is an app. And we need you to download it. It's the best place to find most of the information that the team will be building on a regular basis. But an exciting announcement. I've been very honest, right, over the last, I don't know, it's been a year plus now, where folks would be like, hey, I just have a quick question. I'm like, you about to ask me about the app, aren't you? Yes, it's something that again, it was the hottest thing out when we started. This version of it will be one that I think that you'll be proud of. All right, well, we're here at the end of my work. We're expanding. Two, this has been a process, y'all, and I had the privilege, as I mentioned, going around the country with our team and with the membership, right? So we were going on real estate tours with the membership, right? Looking at spaces together. This is going to be an open process. I encourage you, if you're not following us online, one other kind of core value, I didn't put it as one of the pillars, but one thing that is very important to us is that we are going to be very transparent about everything that's happening at TGS. Like, again, why not is the first kind of part of that. But the second thing is like, we would go on these real estate tours by ourselves. And I think we did all right. But there are a lot of really talented people here that are helping to inform. And we'll be on the street and they'll say, well, people don't drive over here. Or did you know? We'll be there at 10 in the morning. They'll be like, well, did you know at 8 p.m. you can't even park over here? The community is helping to inform where and how we should do this. Our commitment was that we are going to build a physical site in all of the current connected cities. So, I can't go too fast. We're going to announce, I'm announcing one right now. I'm going to announce another one in the fourth quarter this year, right? Because the work is not going to stop. The last thing before we get to where, genuinely, please hear me on this. Every city, so that means New York, Detroit, Chicago, Houston, and Charlotte, is super important to us. It is very difficult from a real estate perspective. We're in 25,000 square feet, and we need a lot when we come to try to build a location. We need places where we can assemble. We need places where we can work. We need places where we can dine and that the city will allow us to be able to build dining. That's hard. So know that the team that's working on that, one, is working very hard, but two, it is a long process, right? I mean, it's long. We'll get there everywhere. And I truly do believe every place where our people are is where the gathering spot will be until we can get the physical tool there. But we do have one city that we have figured a little something out in. And I'm going to play a video of where we're going next.
We made it to 8. During a time where many businesses don't see their first birthday, we made it to 8. When folks said it was impossible, that people didn't actually want what we had to offer, We made it to 8. When the math didn't quite math and we had to make it happen anyway, we made it to 8. When a global pandemic struck, after acquisition and reacquisition, delays, denials, and mistakes, we made it to 8. And we should be proud. TGS is one of the largest and most influential membership communities in the country. What we've done will be remembered. We shifted the culture, launched companies, made friends, elected leaders, and celebrated us at every turn. We made it to 8, and it's now time to start to write our next chapter. The Gathering Spot is joining the Houston community, a community where we already have roots as one of our largest connected cities, a city that has made its own way, and we couldn't be more proud to start our 4th location there. Thank you to everyone past, present, and future. We're just getting started.
Hello, this is Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, welcoming the Gathering Spot to the 18th Congressional District. It's exciting to have a place where people can gather, meet, collaborate, and also bring up new ideas that are exciting new ideas for friendship, fellowship, and economic opportunity. Again, Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, welcome the Gathering Spot to the 18th Congressional District in Houston, Texas. Welcome.
All right. All right. We're going to Houston. Last thing I'll tell you is that, look, we don't land anywhere. We join communities, right? There's already special things happening in Houston. It's all, like, genuinely, it's a culture capital. It's a place where, like, there's a little something going on between Atlanta, DC, LA, and Houston that I'm excited to continue to build on. But this opportunity for us in an area of the country that we've not built yet is something that is exciting, right? And so if you know somebody in Houston, or you know somebody that knows somebody in Houston, and they know somebody too, please tell them that the Gathering Spot is going to join the effort there in that city. And we're going to do it humbly. We're going to do it making sure that we meet the same way we have in every city, everybody that we need to meet, right? But we're going to continue this next part of the physical journey in Houston. That's all I got. Everybody that's watching online across the country, it's incredible that there's 8 cities of us and everybody that's here. We appreciate you. And as I said in that video, we're just getting started, right? So I'm not going to have this be a long conversation. We're going to go back to what we've been doing over these last 90 plus days. We're gonna get back to work. We do have a little bit of celebration that we'll do on the other side too, so don't go anywhere for that. But I'm looking forward to connecting and reconnecting with the community all throughout the country. Again, I've been in all 8 markets over the last several weeks. I will be back in all of the markets over the next several weeks and excited to see you. So thank you again for everybody that's a part of this. Let's get to the next part of the journey. See y'all later.